Hi folks, Greg Marchand here with the TechNet Academy. I wanted to say a few brief words about the current national promotion, the $25 cash back on the gold and platinum AGM CarQuest batteries. And not only do I want to say a few words about that, but I want to give you an idea of how to use this national promotion so that you can grow your total revenue and your gross profit and make that marketing program for your organization something that you can just plug into year after year after year, so you don't have to think too much about it, and it's really effective. So here's the current promotion from November 1st to January 31st. Your consumer can get $25 cash back on the purchase of CarQuest Gold and Platinum AGM batteries. All right, $25 prepaid Visa back to your customer if they fill out the online form. Now, few rules real quick. Limit one purchase per consumer vehicle. Offer valid from November 1st to January 31st, 2018. Offer for CarQuest Gold and Platinum Series batteries installed by you, the TechNet Professional Repair Shop, and they get the cash back in the form of a $25 prepaid Visa gift card. For a complete list of the rules, visit technetprofessional.com and find this promotion. Small change this time in terms of this promotion. You know how you usually get some marketing materials, some posters and whatnot from your advanced driver or your advanced rep, or maybe they're shipped directly to you depending on where you are. It is not going to be automatically sent this time. So you will not automatically get posters in the mail. Now, if you want the posters, you can still attain them. In the meantime, you can get images for your website and your social media from technetprofessional.com if you follow all the links I'll give you before the end of this quick presentation for the national battery promotion. You follow those links and you'll be able to download these things. If you want the posters, we can get those to you. You just have to order them through the material order section, and we'll show you how to do that in just a second as well. The instructions for all of this are located in this real eye-strained slide that you cannot see. But just trust me, I'll give you the links in just a second, okay? Now, what I want you to do with this, like I wanted you to do with the break special we talked about a while back, is I want you to create a get ready for winter, fall-winter special. All right, many of you do this anyway, so maybe you want to try this and change yours up and see how this works, or use this to coincide with this battery promotion. But create a get ready for winter, fall-winter special. And what I like to include in that is a battery test. Well, that's probably already part of your courtesy inspection, right? If it's not, should be, think about it. A tire inspection, rotation, and alignment. Whoa. More on that in a second. An oil change? Obviously. Wiper blades. Huh, okay. And a courtesy inspection. Now, what does this do? Customers have a awareness of certain things, right? Now, we also have two things in this special that have printouts. Customers have an awareness that before winter, they should probably have the battery looked at. And the battery test equipment these days comes with a test printout. So we can print out a piece of paper from that little computer to show the customer the status of their battery. And the customer looks at that piece of paper and they go, oh wow, the computer says I need a new battery. I must need a new battery. You and I know it's not that simple, but guess what? It's third-party affirmation that I talk about in all these programs, right? That thing that printed out a piece of paper that's not a human, not trying to sell me anything, says that, and it knows more about my battery than I do, says that I need a new battery. Boom. Look, the alignment does the same thing. You can show them an alignment printout. No, most consumers have no idea what those numbers, letters, and colors on that alignment printout are. But that's not the point. They know green is good, red is bad, and we can sell an alignment. So when we do the alignment as part of the special, of course, we can show them the piece of paper, the before and the after. We also have the opportunity to get the wheels off the car and take a look at all the undercar components that are associated with the alignment. So we can possibly grow incremental revenue and gross profit there. Oil changes, of course. That's another easily recognized item that customers know they need. So they know they need a battery. They know cold weather is coming in many parts of the country, so they have an awareness. So the special will connect on that level. They know they need an alignment because alignment protects tires and makes their car go straight down the road. And for us, it can sell undercar components. So they're connected to the alignment as part of this special. So there's two things they have an awareness of. They know they're going to need an oil change. So look, even if it's December or January right now and they're due for an oil change, hey, you know what? I might as well have my battery tested, and I probably need an alignment as rough as these roads are around here. And then when do they think about wiper blades? Only when they absolutely have to have wiper blades, right? When they turn them on and, oh my goodness, I can't see anything. It amazes me the condition of some of the wiper blades out there, right? So we've got 4 touch points here that customers have a very high awareness of. Now, if you can offer this for the right price or as part of the right special, you will drive your customers to your store and you will make more money. All of these bring peace of mind to the customer, and you can save them an additional $25 should they need to purchase a battery during these 3 months of November, December, and January. It gets the wheels off the car, which helps you do a proper inspection and upsell, and then it builds that incremental revenue from those upsells. All right, so think about doing this. Now, you can also get creative with some of your marketing around this special. You can run a social media campaign. Maybe you use a countdown special. So, for instance, on Monday, you do this entire special for $49.95. What? Seriously? $49.95, Greg? Yep, $49.95. Because on Monday, we just want to get people's attention. Now, can they run right down and take advantage of it? Maybe not. But on Tuesday, it goes up incrementally to the point where by Friday, you're going to run this thing for, $199.95. So the hope is we want to get customers in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and be able to get the wheels off the car, do the inspection, etc., and get them in at the point where the gross profit is there. It's not a price that they go, oh, I can't afford this. They're still excited about the prices, but you start to build some more gross profit. Maybe on Monday you don't make much gross profit, but maybe you sell a battery, maybe you sell tie rods, ball joints, whatever it may be once you get your eyes on the car. All right, so use the countdown special idea to create some urgency. You could also just promote a free battery inspection. Look, you have a slow day this week, put that out there on Twitter. Free battery inspection today only, and just see if you can get some bites. You should always make that battery inspection part of every courtesy inspection though. But hey, look, you know what? You get a really cold day or maybe the first really cold day of the season, throw out free battery inspection. Somebody that morning had some issues or they started to think they might have some issues. All right, so get creative with this. Pay attention to the weather. Use the weather to connect the customer with some of these components on their automobile. Don't just wait for it to happen. Don't wait for them to come in and say, hey, I need this. Go out there and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, did your car start okay this morning? Yeah, it did this morning, but I don't know about tomorrow morning. Okay? You can promote just an alignment special or just a tire special, but use your social media to take advantage of some of these national promotions. Drive the customers in, take advantage of the weather this time of year, drive the customers in, save them $25, and look, you know what? You sell them a battery, here's what I want you to do. I want you to fill out that online rebate form. You fill it out, you take a picture of the invoice and the paper pad fill out sheet of paper you got to fill out, the rebate form I'm trying to say, and you upload those and you submit that for the customer. Think about that level of customer service. Nobody else is doing that, all right? But use these things to your advantage. Now, you're going to want more information on this. I know you will, so go to technetprofessional.com, click on Marketing Tools, click on Member Promotions from that, and once the Member Promotions calendar comes up, click on the November battery promotion. It will link you to the battery promotion page. Once you get to the battery promotion page, then you can link to the instructions to order the point of purchase materials, the posters if you want. You can download the images for your social media campaigns, and you can order the rebate forms, okay, if you don't want to use the online form. All right, folks, think about running a fall-winter special. Take advantage of this national promotion. Let your customers know you can save them some money. They're going to need some batteries. So get out there, keep up the great work, and never stop promoting. Hi folks, Greg Marchand here. Welcome to another episode of the Virtual Instructor-Led Training Program brought to you by the TechNet Academy. In this episode, I want to talk to you about speaking the technician's language. All right, kind of a silly title, but look, communication with technicians is really, really important, and it's one of the challenges that we're faced with every day. Now, a common normal situation that's all messed up is communication. And communication is so important, and you know that, and we talk about that. But look, we don't usually boil it down to how do we communicate with a specific subset of individuals on this planet, in this case, technicians. It's the key to workflow. It's the key to customer satisfaction. It's really the key to everything, right? And yet it's a really, really continuous challenge. It never seems to go away. It's something we always have to get better and better and better with. And not only communication, but who are we communicating with? Because it changes, right? Is it communication between the customer and the advisor? That's really important, right? But there's not a whole lot we can do with the customer except ask some questions. Is it communication between the advisor and the technician? Well, maybe we can address that. We have a little more control over that environment. How about the owner employees? Yeah, maybe we can address that as well. Nowhere, to my line of thinking, is it more important than that communication between the advisor and the technician, because it makes or breaks almost every number associated with the business. Because it affects everything. Think about it. I mean, look, here's an example. The courtesy inspection. The technician does the inspection like we've always asked them to do. The repair order comes back to the service advisor, and I don't care if this is electronic or paper or just a handwritten on the back of the repair order, doesn't matter to me. All right, all the same for this example. The repair order comes back to the service advisor with the inspection. The technician goes back to work in their bay, and they're out there, they finish up the oil change, they finish up the tire rotate, and the service advisor over the intercom or sticking their head out the window or the door, whatever your shop has, says, "Go ahead, put the wheels back on that, Charlie. Get it out of here." What's Charlie know? Charlie knows, you know what, I did a courtesy inspection. I did it really good, like you're always on me for. Like we always talk about and you're always beating me up on. I do it and then you don't sell anything. So why should I do it? But what does Charlie not know? What Charlie doesn't know, because the communication wasn't there, was that the service advisor sold all that work. And the customer just couldn't do it today. They didn't have the time. But they made an appointment for next Friday. And the car's coming back in for all that work, and Charlie's going to get all that work. Now, if this doesn't get communicated, what happens with the next vehicle? With the next vehicle, Charlie looks at that vehicle and he goes, "I'm not doing a courtesy inspection," because he or she can't sell garbage. Because the communication was poor. You've got to have communication. You've got to give each other feedback. The service advisor, if the service advisor in this example gave some feedback, came out and said, "Hey, awesome job on that inspection. I sold everything. They just can't do it today, but they have an appointment for next Friday. I'll make sure you get the work." That little bit, that 2-sentence feedback, all of a sudden changes everything. Now all of a sudden, here's how it affects the numbers. Now all of a sudden the technician goes, "Awesome, he sold everything. She sold it all. Man, she rocks. I'm going to see what they can do on the next car." And he or she does a fantastic job on the next car. And maybe you sell half of it. But instead of the first scenario where no feedback was given, and the technician assumes you didn't sell anything, and therefore says, "Forget the next inspection, I'm not doing it." And now we missed out on another $300 sale on the next car. Now, because of a little bit of feedback, the technician says, "Hey, I'm going to do the same thing on the next car." And maybe you don't sell the $1,200, but you sell $300. And if we keep doing this, the numbers ratchet up. And maybe with that additional feedback, the technician says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to give them even more information to even do a better job selling next time." And you start to work together because of communication. But you got to be able to communicate with each other, because you're two very different people. Now, when I say communication, I don't care whether it's written, verbal, or nonverbal. It all matters. And when I say written, it could be electronic or it could be paper. Okay? But we have to get better at it. Now, poor communication to the techs slows them down. Right? So whether it's getting them information they need to make the proper diagnosis. If they don't have it, it increases diagnostic time. Or it results in the wrong diagnosis. Either way, it's wasted time. Right? And either way, wasted time means poor production. And poor production means we make less money, and less money generally makes all of us grumpy. So service advisors have to learn to communicate to technicians, as well as technicians back to service advisors. Because poor communication from the techs results in unhappy customers. You cannot maintain high levels of customer satisfaction if you're not getting good information from the technicians. Because it's going to waste your time too. It's going to increase the chaos at the service counter. It's going to result in comebacks. And all that results in less money and a bad attitude in the whole shop. So this is really, really important. Now, why do we have this bad communication? Why does this happen? You know, I can get chuckles out of an instructor-led class from the participants when I pick on technicians for being grumpy or throwing a wrench or whatever, because we've all seen it. And people moan and groan and look at each other when I talk about technician service advisor communication, because we've all seen it, we've all lived it. But why does it happen? We don't ever think about that. You see, technicians are wired a certain way, folks, and I say that as a former technician. So I'm not picking on technicians. I'm just telling you my perspective as a technician. They're wired a certain way, they think a certain way, and they're trained a certain way. And that creates certain habits with them. Service advisors, that's a different skill set. They think differently. Technicians do what they do because that's how they think, and that's what suited them, that's what fit them. Service advisors, same thing. Maybe they tried being a technician, didn't work out so well. But they're at the service counter selling because that's the way they're wired, and they think differently. And because of that, the needs of each person are very, very different. But if you don't communicate what you need and why you need it, the communication problem is never going to get solved. See, technicians are very logical thinkers most of the time. Now, this isn't 100% because there are exceptions to all of this. But in general, technicians are logical thinkers. They're trained to observe symptoms, understand systems, and perform tests to reach some sort of conclusion. Often this is right or wrong to them. It's a yes, no. It's the voltage is there, the voltage isn't there. It's broken or not broken. You know, things are very black and white for them because that's the world they live and work in. That's how they've been trained to think. They're dealing with complex but very structured systems. These systems are incredibly complex, but for the most part, with a few exceptions, these systems are very structured. They know the answer they're looking for when they test. And if that answer isn't there, they move to this. If that answer is there, they move to that. It's very structured. Service advisors, you work in a constant gray area, right? You have to see and sense emotion, customer intent, and technician intent. I mean, you're reading people, right? And then not only do you read people, but then you've got to influence all of these things. And you've got to be flexible because everybody is different. While you're doing all of that, the phones are ringing, customers are walking through the door, parts are getting delivered or making more phone calls. You're trying to invoice customers. You're trying to work in a gray area with a bunch of chaos around you. You're working in a very, very complex environment. Just like technicians work with complex systems, you're working in a complex environment. The difference here is your environment's shifting all the time. It's in a constant state of flux. Whereas technicians, they're dealing with complex systems that are structured. And so this is why it suits your personality versus their personality. But it's a very, very different skill set. The challenge is you need each other. And that's really the bottom line to me. You need each other. So I can't do my job without the tech. The tech can't do the job as well without me. Now, can we do our jobs without each other? Sure. But you know what? Without your technicians, you'll never make any money. Could the technician do a little bit of what you do and make some money? Yeah, probably. I mean, we see shade tree mechanics all the time, right? And they make some money. All right. But the bottom line is you need each other. And working together is the only way a shop and the employees are going to maximize all of their profits. So how do you fix the communication? First of all, you got to understand where the problem is. And if you can understand where the problem is and you can understand the needs of each other, you can then identify what's missing, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be made better, improved, right? And then you can put some effort into changing that communication. But you've got to understand where the problem is and you've got to understand the needs of each other, which requires an open mind. So look, here's one idea that I have. I know everybody hates shop meetings, but this works. This works. I've used it. Set an agenda to talk about communication in the next shop meeting. Now we're going to simplify this because we don't want a long meeting. We don't want a gripe session. We're going to simplify it. It's going to take some time to solve, but the benefits are huge. Set an agenda to talk about service advisor technician communication. Let everyone know ahead of time what you'll discuss and the fact that you will get exactly 2 minutes to state your concern. We're going to time this. We're going to have a designated person in the meeting write down the concerns. So everybody knows ahead of time we're going to talk about communication and they're going to get asked to state what their concern is in 2 minutes, and you only have 2 minutes. This forces it to be simple. All right, forces one person not to dominate the entire meeting. Everybody gets a say, everybody gets exactly 2 minutes. And this is all we're going to do. We're not going to try to resolve any of these. We're not going to fix anything. These are just to get them on the table and get them written down. So this meeting is going to take how long? If you've got 8 people in the meeting, that's 16 minutes, right? So the meeting shouldn't be more than 20 minutes, really, no matter who you are as a shop. Now, maybe you got 40 technicians in a shop, so it'll take a little bit longer, but you know what? Maybe we handle that differently. Maybe we have everybody write down their concerns and turn them in, and we skip the first meeting. Okay, but small shops, with fewer than 20 technicians, you can do this in under a half an hour. That's easy. Okay, so start with that. Now, the technicians should list, up to 3 things. I don't want to go crazy, but up to 3 things that they feel the advisor doesn't do, and prioritize them. What would make the biggest difference? Next to each one, write down how this affects your job. If you ask the technicians to do that and present it in the meeting, then you don't need the person to write it down. All right, so maybe we make this less effort now. So the technicians ahead of time are told we're going to talk about shop communication. So think about 3 things that you feel your advisor team doesn't do. Prioritize them by importance. I want the one thing that if it got improved would make the biggest difference to you at the top. And next to each one, I want you to write down how it affects your job. This is part of the understanding, right? Part of the communication. Service advisors, I want you to do the same thing. All right, list the 3 things you feel your technician needs to do differently in terms of communication. Prioritize them by importance and list how not doing this affects your job. Okay, it's about generating the understanding of how your job affects my job affects your job, and getting it out there so that we can talk about it and then fix it. After that's done, so that's the initial step. Whether you do it with paper, whether you do it with email, whether you do it in person with a scribe in the meeting, doesn't matter to me. That's how I want it to go down. So come back and use this in your meeting. The next step is the owner or manager is going to set the next meeting agenda, and you're going to discuss one concern at a time. There's going to be a ton of overlap, all right? So this shouldn't take 8 shop meetings. You're going to gain traction really quickly. And eventually you're going to start seeing these problems get taken care of outside of these meetings. But set the agenda for the next meeting to discuss one concern at a time. Meet with each employee in between meetings and gather ideas on how they'd like to see this specific issue addressed. You can suggest a fix in the meeting, or you can ask for feedback in the meeting. I would suggest the fix and then ask for feedback on my suggestion. And then, hopefully if you thought this out well, then you can go ahead and implement and monitor the fix. You got to monitor it to make sure it's working. But take one concern at a time, because that one concern, one service advisor concern with maybe a technician, it's going to be good for the group. So take one idea at a time. Maybe the area that you see, boy, this came up with three different people. And if we could address that, that would make a huge difference. Take that idea. All right, so you as an owner manager, or if you're a service advisor and they put you in charge of this, prioritize this list. Take one thing at a time to fix it. Don't move on until that one concern is addressed. All right, if there's 2 that are really, really important, maybe you can address them both at the same time. But really, keep it simple. You're busy. You don't have a ton of time for this stuff. So take it one step at a time. Shop meeting, get communication going. Next shop meeting to talk about the fix for one issue. The technician service advisor communication depends on understanding each other and knowing each other's needs. Once you establish open communication, and you can create that shop meeting environment that allows for that, and then add consistency to it, you're going to do really, really well. Okay? And then follow through on this whole process. Follow through on the entire process. All right, folks, set up the shop meeting, start communicating with one another, start understanding one another, what you need, what you don't need, and be consistent with that communication. Till next time, keep up the great work and never stop learning.